If I told you that, there are people who walk into a room and before they even open their mouths, others already respect them. Would you believe it? They do not need to speak loudly, they do not need to look dangerous, and they do not need to try to attract attention. But strangely enough, everyone can feel that they carry weight. Everyone looks at them differently. Everyone naturally treats them like someone who cannot be underestimated. And what about most people? The moment they appear, they already make themselves fade. Their eyes avoid contact. Their posture shrinks. Their reactions are rushed. Their way of speaking is hurried. And then they do not understand why they are always overlooked, always taken lightly, always interrupted, always in the room, but somehow never truly present. The uncomfortable truth no one tells you is this: a lot of people are not lacking ability. They are simply sending out a signal that makes the world treat them as if they do not matter. That is what is truly dangerous. You do not need to say, "Please respect me." Your body is already saying it for you. Your eyes are already saying it for you. Your rhythm is already saying it for you. Even your silence is already saying it for you. And if you have ever felt like you were right, but no one listened, like you had value, but no one could see it, comment 1. And if right now you are starting to realize, maybe the problem is not that you are inferior, but the way you are showing up in front of other people, comment 2. Because in this video, you are going to see a very unsettling truth. The person who gets respected is not always the most talented one. It is often the person who gives off the strongest sense of steadiness, and what comes next is exactly where many people fall into a trap. They think that if they want respect, they need to talk more, show more, prove that they are smarter, react fast so people can see they are not weak. But the more they do that, the more they reveal their insecurity. Just watch closely. The more someone fears being looked down on, the more they tend to force themselves to seem intimidating. The more someone lacks inner certainty, the more they try to compensate with volume, speed, or attitude. And other people can feel that. Very quickly, very instinctively. They do not break it down into words, but they feel it. They feel that this person needs recognition, needs attention, needs validation. And once you give off the feeling that you are needing something, it becomes very hard for people to truly respect you. But that is only the surface. The first thing that changes the way people see you is not your words. It is the way you stand in this world. A person who is always shrinking inward, shoulders slumped, head lowered, walking as if they are asking for permission to exist, will have a very hard time making others believe they deserve to be heard. It sounds cruel, but it is the truth. The body comes before words. Presence comes before content. People feel you before they understand you. You only need to pay attention in real life to see it. There are people who have not said a single word, but the way they stand already sends a very clear signal. I am not running from myself. That is what makes people slow down when they look at them. You do not need to stand stiffly. You do not need to puff out your chest like you are performing. Just stand a little straighter. Open your shoulders a little more. Lift your head a little higher. Take up the amount of space that already belongs to you. It sounds small, but the effect is not small at all. Because every time you keep making yourself smaller, you are quietly teaching the world this: I am not sure I deserve to be seen. And the world usually believes the signal you send. If you have ever walked into a place and suddenly felt yourself shrink, comment 1. And if you are starting to understand that, just fixing your posture can already change your energy, comment 2. But no one has told you this yet. Posture is only the first layer. The next thing is what truly reveals your inner state. That is rhythm. The rhythm of how you walk, speak, and react. People who are not respected often share one very obvious trait. They rush. They answer too quickly, laugh too quickly, explain too quickly, react too quickly, agree too quickly, even defend themselves too quickly. Everything about them feels like they are trying to outrun some invisible judgment, and that very rush makes them look uncertain. On the other hand, people with real weight tend to move one beat slower, not because they are lazy, not because they are acting, but because they are not being dragged around by the pressure to instantly prove themselves. This is an extremely important difference. When you walk a little slower, sit down a little slower. Pick up your phone, put things down, turn around, answer a question a little slower. You send out a very strong signal. I am not panicking. And a person who is not panicking always gives off a sense of control. Think back for a moment. In a meeting, an argument, or even just a normal conversation, the rushed person often makes others feel unsettled. But the calm person, the one who does not get startled easily or flustered easily, somehow makes the whole room adjust to them. That is not magic. That is psychology. Human beings are naturally drawn toward whatever feels steadier than they are. And the next thing is what causes many people to lose points without even realizing it. Eye contact. A lot of people talk without truly looking. They look down at the ground, look away, look at their phone, glance for a second, and then pull away as if they got burned. They think that is normal. But subconsciously, it says far too much. It says that you are uncertain. It says that you are afraid of tension. It says that you cannot handle being fully seen. And the scariest part is, when you cannot bring yourself to look at others, it becomes very hard for them to believe that you believe in yourself. Of course, staring intensely becomes pressure. No one needs that. But there is a huge difference between eyes that are present and eyes that are escaping. When you talk to someone, hold eye contact long enough for them to feel that you are truly there. Do not pull away immediately as if you have done something wrong. Do not dart your eyes around as if you are trying to escape. Just be present. Just stay calm. Just let the other person feel, I am not afraid of this interaction. You would be surprised how the exact same sentence, when it comes with steady eyes, carries a completely different weight. The same idea, the same person. But the effect changes dramatically, because people are not only listening to your words, they are reading your energy too. But this is still not the strongest part. There is something that sounds almost backwards, but it decides whether people truly respect you or not. It is the ability to listen. Most people do not listen to understand. They only stay quiet temporarily while waiting for their turn to speak. The moment someone else starts talking, their mind is already preparing a rebuttal, preparing their own story, preparing advice, preparing a way to prove that they know something too. And because of that, they miss the most important thing. They miss the other person's experience. Meanwhile, people who truly carry weight do the opposite. They do not rush to take over the stage. They let others finish speaking. They do not jump in just to prove they are sharp. They listen with genuine focus. It sounds simple, but it is extremely rare. When someone feels truly listened to, they immediately see you differently. Because most people out there are starving for one thing: to be understood. The person who can give that does not need to talk much. They still have presence. They still have weight. They are still trusted. Just pay attention to the people everyone loves opening up to. They are not always the ones who speak the best. They are usually the ones who make others feel, with this person, I do not feel dismissed. And once you create that feeling, respect appears very naturally. If you have ever been around someone who constantly interrupts, competes, or tries to prove themselves, you know how exhausting that feels. On the other hand, meeting someone who truly listens already makes them stand out from the crowd. But what comes next is the weapon that changes everything: silence. This is something very few people know how to use well, and because of that, it is also the strongest thing. Most people are afraid of silence. The moment there is a gap, they rush to fill it. The moment there is conflict, they jump in. The moment someone misunderstands them, they feel the need to explain immediately. The moment the atmosphere gets tense, they have to say something right away. They are afraid that not reacting will make them look weak. But the truth is often the opposite. The person who reacts instantly is often being controlled by emotion. The person who can hold silence is often the one holding power. Look at an argument. When everyone is talking, everyone is interrupting, everyone wants to win. There's a lot of noise, but very little value. In that chaos, the one who stays quiet and observes is often the most formidable person in the room. They do not throw their energy into impulsiveness. They let everything reveal itself. They let other people expose themselves through their words, attitudes, and loss of composure. And then, at the right moment, they say one short sentence, and the whole room listens. That is real power, not talking more to get attention, but making your words valuable because you do not waste them. And if you are starting to realize this, comment 2. And if you have regretted many times because you spoke too early, too fast, too much, comment 1. Because what makes people respect you is not the number of words you say. It is the degree to which you control your words. But there is an even deeper layer. And this is the perspective shift many people have never seen. You may think these techniques are about manipulating the way others see you. No, that is only the outer layer. The true root of respect is not in standing straight, speaking slowly, holding eye contact, listening well, or knowing when to stay silent. Those are only expressions. The deeper source is this: do you respect yourself or not? That is the deciding point. When you stand straight, you are silently saying that your body deserves to be present. When you are not rushing, you are silently saying that your time and your rhythm do not need to run after other people's judgment. When you look straight ahead, you are silently saying that you are not ashamed of your own existence. When you listen, you are steady enough that you do not need to steal the spotlight. When you stay silent at the right moment, you are showing that your words have value, so they do not need to be scattered everywhere. Once you understand this, everything changes. Because the problem was never simply, how do I make other people respect me? The real problem is, why do I keep sending signals that I can be treated lightly? That is the real wound. And once you see that, you will stop trying to perform power. You will start building it from the inside. You do not need to become louder. You do not need to become harsher. You do not need to fake coldness. You do not need to turn yourself into a stranger. You just need to stop betraying your own presence. Stop shrinking, stop rushing, stop avoiding, stop talking nonstop just because you are afraid of silence. Stop explaining everything as if you need other people's permission to have value. When you stop doing those things, something very strange starts to happen. People begin talking to you differently. They interrupt you less. They listen longer. They weigh your words more carefully, and they may not even understand exactly why. They just feel you are no longer easy to dismiss. That is when respect starts to appear, not loudly, not theatrically, but very real. And the most beautiful part is this: you do not have to wait for anyone to give it to you. You can start creating it today. The very next time you walk into a room, the very next conversation, the very next time someone looks into your eyes, the very next moment when you are about to rush to explain something, and then stop. If you want to change the way other people see you, do not start by trying to speak better. Start by showing up differently. Stand steadier, move slower, look straighter, listen deeper, and use silence more intentionally. That's all. But it is enough to reverse many things. If you have made it this far and realized that many times you have been making yourself smaller without knowing it, comment 1. If you decide that from today on, you will stop asking for permission to be present, comment 2. And remember this: the person who is truly respected is not the one who is always trying to prove they are strong. It is the one who no longer gives off the feeling of weakness. They do not need to be loud. They do not need to compete. They do not need to win every argument. They just need to show up. And other people automatically adjust the way they treat them. That is the highest level. If you enjoy content like this, please like and subscribe, because there are many more psychological truths like this. And once you see them, you will never look at people the same way again.